Right, I'll introduce myself. I'm Graham Shepherd. I live locally and I do a lot of walking around, and I don't like footpaths very much. I walk around with my eyes open and pick things up and usually take them home, and sometimes I'm allowed to keep them. I've brought a box of artefacts along that I've collected at various times. This one is from Beeley Woods near Jawbone Hill, which the maps call Whale Jaw Hill or something, but they don't know really much, do they? The groove that you can see there is where cables dragged along the ground from the Gannister Mines, pulling tubs of Gannister towards the factory. Gannister is what they used to use for all the containing steel for making furnaces and steel ladles and things like that before they got onto more sophisticated materials. And it was probably a massive industry in Deepcar, mining and open casting before during the Industrial Revolution. They used to dig it out and they used to take it down to Sheffield and maybe to Stocksbridge to the steelworks and build furnaces. That's an old brick, an old Gannister brick. It's got a G on it, and that was probably, well, it was found near Station Road where the old GR Steens, and before that it was called General Refractories, and they made silica bricks. The local stuff's a bit crude by today's standards, and in recent years they brought it all in from South Wales and places like that. So that is actual Gannister, and if you compare it with the local stone, you can immediately see a difference. It's a different texture, it's finer. The fine texture keeps it a lot cleaner on the surface. Considering that was a major thing in Deepcar, Stocksbridge Valley, as an industry years and years ago, it's very, very occasional that you actually find it. You see 1 million tonnes of that for every lump of that you see lying around.
Is it worth quite a lot?
No, it's worth virtually not. Well, nowadays it's worth nothing at all. It's pretty useless, but it's
because it's better stuff.
yeah, they actually treat all refractory materials that are used for furnaces and so on. They actually treat it as a mineral before they actually make it into anything. They treat it chemically and all sorts nowadays, and it's very, very expensive and sophisticated. That was dug out of the ground, ground up and made into bricks and the like.
You've been in the Gannister mine?
You've been in the Gannister mine, have you?
Is it like, where does it all inflow?
Oh. That's it. Alright. That's a piece of flint, and you don't get any flint in this area whatsoever, not for miles around. But
so like spot?
Yeah, it would, yeah, if you knock two pieces together it's spot. And when you do that it smells as well. I don't know, it must release a gas or something. But that was brought in and used in pebble mills to actually grind the Gannister. And chemically it's similar. So when that wears away, instead of contaminating the Gannister with something else, it actually contaminates it with something similar, so that's less of a problem. That's a big brick, and I get excited about bricks. And it says, what does it say on it? Ultra Bridge, what's that say? Can't read that one. Bramall Ultra Bridge. And it's been in a furnace. It's not a furnace brick, but it's been somewhere hot, like the second lining, the outer lining. So it's all cobbled up. That's from a Gannister mine, painted black by me so that it becomes more acceptable to the wife. And in my porch, along with a few more things. Pretty pickaxe head from one of the Gannister Mines. Kept them small so that they're being crouched in tight conditions, kneeling down and pick away with that.
And did you find them?
I found these in well, shouldn't have been encouraging people to go and look in. I found them just outside of a mine shaft. Yeah. That, when I found that, it was like a football. It was a big brown blob. After about 2 hours chipping away, that was inside.
What were it coming?
It's well, just rust. It just expanded up and no gaps in it. And it was just a big lump of rust. They used to clamp it to a cable through there, and they're editing again.
It's really harsh, isn't it?
I told you I was pulled in 4 directions this morning. Yeah, they would clamp that to a cable, and that would be on one of these wooden built trolleys that pull along on a track. And as I say, it was a big, massive rust. And that was the cable would have been gone years and years ago, but this was like just like. What would have powered the cable? What would have powered the cable? Good question. I would think they would have been into electricity on a drum. I wouldn't know. I don't know the answer actually, but this would have been early 1900s. It wouldn't have been sort of hundreds of years ago. Most of this, in fact, and just bits and pieces from the mine. I mean, that I think might have been a tray that they must have dug something onto a tray and pulled it along by hand until they get to the tub and things like that. Bits of a old bucket handle. That's a little bit off a trolley that was.
Well, them little carts?
Yeah, one of those little carts, yeah. Bit of original wood there. And that's it, that's the total of my collection. I intend to add more to it as the years go by. Yeah. Look at that.
What was it like with the inspection with deep core mines you were
I think really you should be asking somebody who's old instead of me. But I worked at the refractory plant when I was younger, and that was quite interesting. I worked in the laboratory, and they were making bricks for coke ovens and things like that. And there were some interesting characters about. I used to work with our friend over there, the Lord Mayor, but he was just not but a lad then. And, I'm very proud of the fact that I could drink more than him when we were about 70. But I don't think he'll admit that. Yeah, I moved into what was then an USD. And so Deep Car was a linear settlement which was like all along the main road at the bottom, and then they started building a new estate which I moved into. It was a very, very modern, well, nearly new house, and couldn't afford it. It took me about 30 years to be able to afford the mortgage, but it was worth it. And I worked at the refractories on B16, and I just loved the area. And when I got married, it was the first place I chose to actually move into. And we used to get a lunch shower. That wasn't the same as the boss. So if you dodged him for 2 minutes, you could have 2 hours instead of 1, because you had your own and then you'd have his. So I used to go walking up on Wharncliffe for an hour or so at that time. But don't tell anybody about that. Anything else? The area itself, you probably know, was there was mine shafts going way back in time before my time. There was 2 refractories plants at Station Road. There was the old factory on Car Road.
The mine was right at the top of Car Road, isn't it?
At the top of Car Road, that's a bell pit, isn't it? And I think they used to have Gannister like this, and a different place they had clay. I think it was clay, or maybe even coal. There were 2 layers of useful stuff there. And the Deep Car Common itself was all mined and quarried, and Gannister again second out around there. So as I say, it was a very, very busy place many years ago, and nowadays I suppose people mostly drive out into Sheffield or somewhere else for their work. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Just introduce yourself.
Right, okay.